podcast you cheer for. Sneaker, business, talk. It's the Soul Material Podcast.
And we're back. We are back. Welcome to the Soul Material Podcast, the podcast you cheer for. I'm the OGEO.
All right, it's T Mark the Street Shark.
We're here to give you some sneaker business talk in true OG fashion. This is something that we talked about in the backgrounds. I want to bring it up to the forefront just to have a conversation with the Shark himself, because he is one of the top people that I've known more than my entire adult life on not only getting steals and deals, knowing how to shop, but how the shopping experience has totally changed since our childhood to now. And the benefits and some of the things that I definitely miss. And want to just bring those things to the forefront so we can have a discussion and you guys can kind of view and measure yourself to see what's hot and what's not right now as far as how things go now. And wanted to kick it off with you, Shark, to just talk about the benefits now of, we talked about these things in previous episodes, e-commerce as far as direct to consumer, but that nostalgia part, what does this nostalgia mean now compared to when we were growing up?
Yeah, I think the first thing that actually comes to mind when it comes to nostalgia is just the optics. I think that's a key word that we use a lot over here at the Soul Material Podcast, because it's about that clarity over popularity. So we're talking about the optics of just what the store looked like, how it was branded, how the signage was put up in the store, and the stories that the signage actually told inside the store. We actually were way more in depth back in the day than I feel like they are now. The way that some of these sign packages are executed throughout the store at a merchandising level, because I think because of the way that the world changed and we communicate, it got a little more microwave, that the messages like at the store level have to be either quick and direct, or like you just assume the customer is already there because they know what they want. And because you're not going to get knowledgeable people in the stores like you used to. It's like, this is the part that just makes us feel old by saying this. It's just like, in my day, the people in the store knew what they was talking about. When I was like, but that was kind of true, like you could pick a shoe up off the wall, or you could like tell them a name of a shoe and they would know what it was. You had more people that knew the names of stuff than you do now. Now, even though it's still young people working the store, it's just like, wasn't like we were working in a store like as adults, you know what I mean? So, but I think we just, go back to our East Bay episode. We were, I was talking about the pride that it was to learn the name of the shoe, learn the description of it, the materials, how much it weighed, and then I'll walk into the store and be like, how come y'all don't know that? But then some people that, that was like the tech wreck era, when you had people from different brands to come around to the stores and show you some of the new shoes and technology or whatever, and then they like train you up so that you could tell the customer about stuff. And they don't have those type of programs anymore from the retailers or the brands educating the retailers about the technology. It's almost like we're going direct to consumer with the information. So all the tech specs and everything like that, that's out there for the consumers, but can they teach themselves? It's like we lost our teachers, and those in between checkpoints at the store level to relay those messages, drive them home, give them a little demo or something like that, or just show you what it's all about. Those displays that you could touch. We did Reebok where they had the exoskeleton of the DMX cushion in, and you could like squeeze it, and then you could see the air pods transfer, all the way up to some of the time in my retail marketing days, because I was heavy in the game when Flywire first came to Nike, and that thing was promoted
to nostalgia.
Oh my goodness!
Made me vomit.
How many? I was flossing my teeth with Flywire. It was so much that we promoted, and all the in-store displays. You knew I was king display guy because I used to take so much of things home. I just couldn't keep traveling around with those things. But I've had so many big, displays from the store, and having been someone that participated for a national retailer in sign packages and the storytelling that we would tell. And when I talk about a sign package, folks, I'm talking about like a mall where you walk into the store and the windows have signs in them, and then like the rack tops, and then the POS, the point of sale signage, they all tell us the same story. It's seasonal. It's back to school, and it's, brought to you by a certain brand at that particular time. Well, I participated on the team that comes up with all those ideas, and then you work with the merchandising crew to come up with the displays for the actual merch in the window to match the artwork. I might have been someone that came up with your favorite slogan for the season, and you didn't even know you was walking past the stuff. So I think that's what's different, like the sign packages, and the rack tops. The communication on the rack tops, like that's a key element inside of the store, because it lets you know what's on there, especially like the sale stuff. You don't want to just see sale, and the only time you see detail is in outlet and factory outlet stuff, where they actually have to do the calculations for you. Like if it's this price, and it says 10%, it's this. If it's 30%, it's this. It's 40. So people know the number or whatever. But that's the most information that you get on the rack top now. You know what I mean? We used to.
How much you're paying?
Yeah,
Ironically,
you kind of leave. I mean, again, we just quicker with the draw. Get in, how much, pay it and get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no experience anymore, to say, probably just why you consume the way that you consume, because it's not even a consumer experience to even wear the products the same way. It's a flash in the pan. It's for the Instagram picture, it's for the photo shoot or whatever. And then it's just like out of sight, out of mind. But tell me about your experience. I'll dive into customer service in a second. But
definitely. And since you're going to dive into that, I'll go into another tangent, because I was thinking about how customer service has changed on both ends as far as what the expectation is, and also how it is, for lack of a better word, consumed now, and if it's even appreciated at some point. And if we are now dinosaurs in appreciating what customer service really is as far as its pure definition. But one thing I do miss, Shark, is going into a store and having the flexibility and the time to just try on a shoe. And it just seems like, unless you're going to an outlet now, there may be a factory outlet to where a thing may not be so much in demand. It's just impossible now to just see how a shoe may fit. And as we discussed in previous episodes, you may bump into a situation where you have your favorite shoe and your favorite model, and it may be remade again, but two colorways don't fit the same. So having the flexibility to just do that, I definitely miss. Now, I know that there is easy things going on now as far as return policy and so forth. But again, the touch and feel that, hey, I need a 10.5 in that and 11 in that. Let me try a 11 on my right foot. Let me try a 10.5 on my left foot and see what's going on. I just miss those days. And that may just be too old now, but the whole popcorn experience and just kind of just rolling with the punches and glad that you just got it. And maybe too tight or maybe too long, a little bit too big. I know with you, Shark, you don't mind returning things back. But I know so many guys, it's like, I'm just glad I got them. And I'm just like, but they don't fit properly. So what are you going to do? And having a hassle of having to trade and this, that, and the third, when I just miss that aspect. And even with some clothing that, go high in demand, once you order it, you may get a waist that may be, 2 inches too tight or too big. And then you go back to their website and it's just gone. And it may be optics. It may be a true sellout. You never know. But as I learned from you with artificial intelligence and everything that's going on, what do you believe? And what I did believe was getting up on a Saturday or on a Friday night and just going and just touching and feeling the product. And it's so much that I still have from those times that I'm glad I had the opportunity to. And then going out there, sometimes we talked about this in the previous episode as well. You may catch a deal or so forth. You may not catch it online. And may catch an employer say, hey, we kind of slow. You can use my employee discount and those type of things. So I definitely miss the touch and feel aspect before you purchase, not just being happy that you were able to get a lottery or win it and wait for it to come in and hope that the quality is okay. Hope there's no scratch on it. Hope that, don't like it was worn. Hope that it's not a factory defect. Like, no, when you walked out of the store, you paid your money and you know exactly what you got. And telling someone, hey, that right shoe is messed up, you mind switching that out? I just miss those days.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even have the options. I mean, when it comes to, the returns and everything like that, like, it actually has been impacted because not every store, half these stores didn't change their return policies for credits and all the other stuff for that, because we got a lot of people not buying for the intent of actually wearing the stuff they're buying to sell. So, it actually discouraged people from trying stuff on. I actually given an experience of shopping at SneakerCon, and being a vendor at some of the beginning of it. I will tell you that I was one of those vendors. Like, I hated when people asked me to try on a damn shoe, because I'm just like, so the counterpoint is, I would say, this isn't a store. You know what I mean? And then it would be like, and then I'd be like, put out a piece of cardboard and be like, yeah, like, you got to step on that. Like, you can't just go raw on the floor. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, I'm trying to sell something that's dead stock. You know what I mean? And I hate it when I'm live in person. Someone want to try something on, try it on, then be like, I'm good. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, yo, fam, like, you just like unds'd my shoe. You know what I mean? Now, I think that the consumer has changed on the varying degrees of what a brand new shoe is. You know what I mean? Because you have to know that if it's in the store, a new shoe is just new. It's not dead stock. You know what I mean? Unless it's factory laced, you just bought a brand new shoe, because anybody can try the thing on. And now you done seen where one of the shoes is unlaced or a little dusty at an angle or something like that, because somebody tried that joint on. And what you gonna say? No? Well, because that's how most of the stuff worked. You know what I mean? Because you didn't have this online option to go get stuff back in the day anyway. So it was store or bust in the first place, unless you call it eBay. But then you couldn't try nothing on. And I think that we've lost savvy as well, because we already gave you this tip a long time ago. So some of our new listeners, here's a deal. Before you buy stuff online, go try the stuff on in the store. You might get a new experience in the store. And like, I get it, it's frowned upon in some retailers, but go to your sporting goods store. Go to Dick's Sporting Goods. Go to Moe's or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Got to go to Moe's, because they got team shoes that's the same model. It's just the generic colors that you ain't really gonna buy, but it's the same model. Try it on. Some of these models, are tighter here or there, like, but in our culture, you'd rather just leave a gazillion comments on people's record. How's the fit? How's the fit? How's the fit? How does someone as a stranger know what it's gonna fit like for you on your foot? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you right now, my left foot and right foot are not exactly the same size. So how the heck is somebody else that I don't know gonna tell me how one of my foot is gonna, one of my feet is gonna fit in this particular shoe, right? And you got to know your foam positive size. You got to know your Hirachi size. You got to know your LeBron size. You got to know, so many. You got to know your feet you wear size with Adidas. You got to know your Yeezy size. They're all
Curry size.
You got to know your Curry size. They are all different sizes. You know what I'm saying? So, what's going to happen with that? Do the people in the stores know that? Half of them are just runners now. You know what I mean? They're not educating you. They don't even upsell. I was like, do y'all not get commission anymore or any other incentive to do more while you're in the store and like sell stuff? I actually get disappointed when people don't. They barely talk to me, but then they, because I probably look like a customer that knows what I want. So it's just like, you need a size, whatever. All right, big man. You know what I mean? Leave you alone. But because I've actually talked to people and have said that it's like, well, you just look like you know what you wanted or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'll just like, so I don't look like a gold mine, you know what I mean? I will follow me around and try to get credit for themselves, you know what I mean? And then upsell, you need some socks, you need a shirt. Did you know we got 2 for $30, whatever here? You want a hat, like they don't do none of that stuff. Half of them won't even locate to their own store somewhere else. You know what I mean? I was just like, I don't know if they changed the way they pay some of these people or whatever. But
how much that is our fault though, because no harm, but although they are getting paid, you're dealing with customers now who feel like that's a waste of their time, and although they're in the store. So I know that's part of the job, but at some point, there's got to be some exhaustion to say, why am I even doing this? I'm getting paid what I'm getting paid. And upselling right now, is it the employer's fault for not having employees that are following by it? Or is it the employee that's saying, I'm tired of customers just coming in here
it's both,
and not one upsell?
You got to have a base plus incentives or bonuses or something like that. Look, here's a buzzword that you had to be there and know. You got to get your multiples up.
Multiples. Good old multiples.
If you don't know what a multiple is, you did not work. And there's a certain store, I'm not even going to say the name. If you just don't know, you didn't work there.
Remember the multiples contest? Oh, my goodness.
That's what I'm saying. That was shoe cleaner heaven. When you get somebody and do the display on the box and be like, yeah, and then you spray the water, Jonah, and then just beads just fall off that junk, and then they just like, oh, this is magic. You know what I mean? How many? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the spray upsell over the socks. You know what I mean? But when we had a contest of the multiples and stuff like that, like, come on. So like that wasn't. Like, I feel like it was fun. You know what I mean? Like,
on both ends.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, that's the experience for the customer that they don't get, because now it's like you got a customer experience. First of all, there's someone was sitting there measuring your foot. You know what I mean? Like, you sure you got this? And then they suggest that this size runs like this, and then you might want to, what activity are you doing? Like, I remember being trained to speak in those terms of like, what are you going to use the shoes for? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, you're a runner? Oh, okay, well, let's go over here. You know what I mean? Like, do you have plantar fasciitis, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these other terms. Do you have a wide foot? And then, like, I always started with basketball because I know the most about the aesthetics of the shoe and how it performs for your type of game, and because I could be like, oh yeah, what's up, yo, you big man, you're a forward, a power forward or whatever, you probably need this, and then I go over here and be like, yeah, you need the jump man pro quick, because you're a guard like over here, you know what I mean, but you need the strong for the big man, but the quick for the for the guard. So like that type of stuff, I felt like I was doing a service, you know what I mean? And then that made the upselling less intimidating to me, because it was like the person walked away not feeling sold. They felt like they got what they needed. You know what I mean? I didn't even know I needed this, but now I saw the need and I got it. You know what I mean? Like, the life of my shoe gonna last longer if I can protect it like this. I thought it was just Scotch Guard for boots and stuff. I didn't know I could do this on premium leathers and stuff. So yeah, I really love that. And then it was like, don't let us have like a T-shirt sale and contest or whatever and try to move some of that back stock. And then you work at a particular store that the manager's cool and y'all like, I just talked about rack tops. Y'all might make your own sign and table just to speed it up, because that manager gonna like it because they competing for the store level against other stores. So however they get it, as long as the numbers is clean at the end. But yeah, experience. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about this in other episodes, but just the nostalgia of the stores, or the
comparing prices.
Look, it's not even, I mean, the aesthetics, not even the product on the wall. You know what I'm saying? The aesthetics, like, I might have stayed in a Foot Locker a little bit longer because I was watching the NBA on NBC because they had the TV on, and I was like, damn, I didn't know the Bulls was on, you know what I'm saying? Or the CBS, even the CBS, they was on. We're going to see some Bird and Magic, on the TVs up in next to the big hoop and the scoreboard in Foot Locker. I mean, you know what I mean? So not all the other stores had TVs and stuff like that, but I just love those nostalgic displays. Like, I can see World Foot Locker in my head with the, that was one of the cleaner versions, because that was where they used like, the white mannequins and the clear plastic, backdrops and stuff, and it looked space age for what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, that store looked like a Phone Posit Max if you personified that for what it was at that time. You know what I mean? It looked like
we're talking about and let people know we're talking about the 2000s right now, early 2000s.
Yeah, like late 90s, early 2000s to for something to look futuristic like that, you know what I'm saying? For that type of store, in those showroom style white pieces and chairs that you could sit in and stuff like that. You know, I always thought like some of those displays where I was just like, some of this stuff is too high up that you can't even touch it. Like, but then I thought about it, and I would always be like, well, that's part of the nostalgia. You know what I mean? And that's part of the customer service for someone to come up with them long hooks. You know what I mean? They had to get it for you. And then there goes the engagement. We just lost engagement. And we're in a, you know, I'm going to use a buzzword here and say omni-channel retail environment. You know, for those that don't know, that's a real business concept for where retail has actually been trending the last few years. Is it's just more of a seamless experience all the way through. And an omni-channel means however many different channels of communication, they all like bottleneck into one seamless experience. So it's omni-channel experience now begins digitally online, and it goes through all the way until your point of purchase, whether that's digital or in person or whatever. So that's why it's seamless. And then now we have these open air stores or whatever. Nike's already doing this, where if you have your Bluetooth on and your sync and your Nike account is on, like, you can actually just walk into a store,
get recommendations,
and then it'll just start pushing stuff to you, right? And don't have like your Nike Plus app where you're like a runner and all the other stuff. It'll start telling you the deal of the day and all of the stuff that caters to your running style and everything like that. It'll push whatever the deals are to you. And again, that's omni-channel, seamless experience. And they've been doing that more. I feel like I was at a conference where they were talking about Nike in particular. It was actually, I was listening to a speech that looked like a TED Talk from an executive from MasterCard, and they were talking about Nike. And they were talking about how, this was like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, where you could just walk in the store, you know, and then they just start pushing notifications to you. You know, and I know I'm experimenting with a little bit of that too. You know, so you're like syncing up to the store when you get there. So, and then like all your buying history and all the other stuff is around there, you know, factors into the algorithm of what gets pushed to you. Like, did you know we had this in your size? You know, check aisle E. You know what I mean? So, it's the experience is getting more digital, and the more you don't embrace technology, the more you won't understand all of the benefits that are going to be there for you. Because it was hard catching coupons back in the day. You had to actually talk to somebody and be in a retail environment where
it's like a hookup almost.
Yeah, but you didn't talk to them like hook me up, but it was like, we got a relationship and I know you can do this. You know what I mean? And then it was like more savvy managers that was just like, you don't let the sale walk away. If you could just take, you know, the difference between a sale or not is taking off 5% because it was a display shoe, or 10% because it was a display shoe. Like you do that. Like you do that.
Understood. It's funny you mentioned display shoes, because I have to mention this because we're in an environment now in which there are a whole lot more buy, sell, trade shops than ever before. And most people that will probably tune into this podcast are more than familiar with them. But talking to a few owners of these stores from Carolina, Baltimore, New York, and so forth, not using the language that they use, but there has been, I'll just say, a great request out there for consumers to stop filling up on the shoes that are on display. So on one end, you're mad if you go to a Flight Club or somewhere where the shoes are in plastic. But on the other hand, when you go to another store, they're not in plastic, and you know what you're looking at because you are a quote unquote sneakerhead, but you just have the shoe in your hand and you are literally finessing and feeling up the shoe 5-10 minutes and going to the next one. And it's like, okay, is that shoe dead stock now? Or what is going on? And it's just so funny because that is a trend now. And it's almost like certain customers will come every week and just do that and never buy anything. And I think that the owners now know those people, like, oh, here he comes. So it's funny how that's becoming a trend.
I'll go back to the SneakerCon experience because that's similar to where people put their signs up and say, don't touch. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, grab the Freddy Krueger dunks. So how much for these? It's like, first of all, get your greasy hands off this thing. Second of all, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't for you if you got to grab it and ask. You know what I mean? You should already know. But at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, that whole just touching stuff, it's just like you see with your eyes, not your hands. We speak with our mouths, we listen with our ears. Like, what just happened? But people, I've actually seen the pranks where I was like, now this is dangerous because somebody will get hurt. Where they do it on purpose, where they go up to someone that say don't touch, and then they touch it and like, hey, you know what I mean? I was just like, yo, you're messing with people's money and their products. Like, what other product do you do this for, right? If you were selling jewelry and you know what I mean, do they just go up and let you touch it? You know what I mean? And like, no, they putting gloves on themselves. And they're like, they're gonna sit there right there. Here's the mirror. Let me hold it up. I ain't even gonna clamp the thing. I'm just gonna hold it up and make it look like it's around your neck. But they won't. You can't do that nowhere else. But here we always be trying it. You know what I mean? And I think that's a no. For those that have been shopping for a long time, that's not a Flight Club exclusive experience. You know what I mean? Go to your hookup spot. Them things was in plastic a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Some of them mom and pop stores. So I ain't mad at you. The shrink wraps was just. It wasn't a full shrink wrap, you know what I mean? Like their plastic was like a little hard on it. It wasn't like the shrink
like
wrap.
A hard shell.
Yeah, like it still
covering.
had air in it, you know what I mean? Like it was like, like molded plastic, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the shrink wrap that as soon as heat hit it, it all just conforms to it like some of the stuff is now. So
it's funny because you mentioned, now I mentioned some stores in Georgetown where the plastic actually cracked because it was on the shoe for so long. Where
that's
you could
what
tell
I'm saying. And I know that, and then like some of them old shoes and then the sole been there for so long. You know what I mean? So and then that helps speed up the oxidation. So sometimes that display shoe in the plastic got yellow way faster than the right shoe that you're about to get. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, display shoes. It used to be like common practice to like people didn't argue when you asked for a couple dollars off the display shoe. You know what I mean? But there were other stores that you knew like it was all display. Because again, we talked about like your rack room shoes and famous footwears. Those used to have like real stuff back in the day. You know what I mean? So that all that open air stuff, even Payless had real stuff, not your generic stuff that you get right now. And then you have your, this is regional now that I'm saying this, but like Sneaker Stadium and everything like that, where you actually got to try on. Like it was like, imagine like DSW for athletic shoes. That was Sneaker Stadium.
Literally. It was I call it a shoe plaza. That's what my dad used to call it. He used to call it a shoe plaza.
That was the first spot that had a basketball court inside with the cage. You know what I mean? Like you really hooped in there. So that's that around that time, that experience of trying stuff on. I think people need to. You didn't lose it. You just stopped doing it. You didn't lose the opportunity. But I would try again. My advice for your auto acquisition is to try these stores that are sporting goods stores first, because they're meant for the trial owners. They're meant for they won't stop you because they're meant for people that are going to perform in those shoes. But you go to some more of these mall stores and half of these boutiques, they'll never let you try nothing on. You know what I mean? So you definitely got to know what you want. And then half the stuff is no return. So you got to know what you're doing. So listen to the Soul Material podcast, practice your auto acquisition, and you'll be well on your way for a better shopping experience.
Definitely. And in closing, Tony, I would definitely like to recommend to folks, just have a mixture. Like you mentioned, sometimes it's good to just go out there and touch and feel. But for the most part, like I said, we're in society now to where everything is instant gratification. Everything is quick. Everything is convenient. With Amazon on, the return policies with them particularly is like, hey, no questions asked, just return it. But getting it back in the size that you want, depending on the demand, good luck to you. So with all that being said, I just miss the old way of doing things, but at the same time, technology has its advantages and you got to balance it out.
Yeah, we got to do it. There was technology was being introduced in the past. We tried to, you could look up stuff in the stores on your own and everything like that. So like you just said, use the things to your advantage. Just find a new way. It's old or new, change is inevitable. So find a way to make the best experience, and stop paying all that money.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's hard-earned money. Enjoy yourself. Don't sit there with an attitude. Exactly.
Have an experience like, that whole shopping experience of going out on a Saturday and copping some shoes. It should not be stressful. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Go get what you want and walk away. Happy doing it. Get you a pretzel from the food court or something, and feel good about yourself. All right. That's because the shark and the OG said so. All right. So that's another episode of Sneaker Business Talk in the books. So signing off is T Mark the Street Shark
and OGEO.
All right. Soul Material out.
Peace to you.